welcome or welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I remove the gel polish off of this hand. I will link the video for doing this in the description box for you, but I'm going to show you everything that I use. I use an E-file. I like to use this bit. I think it is a McCart bit that I bought in a set on Amazon. It is a coarse bit. I also sometimes like to use this medium one, just depending on if I'm doing my non-dominant hand, because I do not want to cut myself because they are not safety bits. I will also be using a sanding band. This is an old one, so I'm going to replace it, but I like to use a 240 grit at the end. Now I'm going to just show you how I remove the gel polish. You just set up your E-file, put the bit in. So the little pink thing at the bottom is to keep the dust from going into the handle, which I think is amazing, especially on this, since I'm going to be removing so much product. Not really so much, but I'm going to be removing a good amount. Also, if your bits don't have like the little letter on them, you can kind of tell by how gritty the head part is. Also, cannot forget to use a dust collector. If you are not using a dust collector, you should be, or you should be wearing a mask. I definitely recommend investing in a dust collector of some kind. I bought this dust collector on Black Friday last year, and I love it. I sometimes forget to use it, and I regret it because I'm covered in dust, but definitely check it out on Amazon. They have a $15 off coupon, and the deal gets down to like 70 bucks for Black Friday, so go grab it. I put my E-file on about 7,000 RPMs to start, just so that I can kind of get myself in the hang of it. Also, I taught myself how to do my nails, how to E-file, how to do everything. So sometimes I still do mistakes at the top, like I was just doing. Sometimes it goes that way for me. I forget where I turn the sound on for you guys so you can hear the E-file. But I do turn the sound on so y'all can kind of hear the E-file. Alright, I had to pause it and go back and look. But I turn the sound on so you can hear the E-file and you can hear the dust collector. The dust collector does get loud, but right now it's just on the lowest setting, just to kind of start with. I usually put it on the high setting, but sometimes it's like really loud and I don't really need it. But as you can see, I wanted to show you all the difference. So now I just have the dust collector on low, and you can see how much is coming off of my nails. Now I have it on 7,000, and you can kind of see that I'm having to go over the spots several times and all the things. So 7,000 is a good place to start, but when I first started learning how to E-file and practicing on myself, I would do it on lower speeds. But as I got more comfortable, I would raise the speed up, and doing it at about 10 or 11, or I don't know, sometimes I go up to like 15 or so. I never really go into the 20s because I get really nervous, and I don't really need to because I take my tips off a different way. But I really don't like to go like that high because I get nervous that I'm going to cut myself. So, I mean, you just got to get comfortable with your E-file. And here I'm still at 7, but I want y'all to notice, like, when I turn it up to 10,000, like, what a difference it makes in the speed of the polish coming off. This is a coarse bit. I don't really use anything. I haven't tried anything stronger than a coarse bit just because I don't really feel like I need to. So now I just moved up the speed, and just look at how the gel is just like flying off now. And I'm not putting any pressure on the E-file. I'm just letting the E-file do the work on its own. I just kind of wanted to show y'all what I do. I was going to take the polish off camera, but I haven't showed this process, I don't think yet, in full of how I do it. And I just do the same thing on all of the nails. I really tried my darndest to be in camera the entire time and do this, but the way the camera is set and the way the dust collector is like on the desk and just all the things, it was really difficult to kind of stay in camera fully 100% of the time. So I really hope y'all can appreciate the video for what it is and the details I'm trying to give and show. Now, when doing your own nails, you just really want to be careful. There are ways to practice and safety bits to buy, which I usually do use a safety bit. But when you use a safety bit, you can't get up that close to the cuticle just because of the ball on the end of it. But you also will not cut yourself with a safety bit. I mean, you could if you hit your skin, but the safety bit has got a rounded edge so you don't get that crisp edge on the side, because you will slice yourself open if you are not careful. So just throwing that out there, you want to be very, very careful. I have cut myself several times. I've just gotten a lot better, and I feel like now was the time to share with y'all. I've been using my E-file for about a year now, and I'm finally to a point where I'm comfortable with it. Sometimes I still do get nervous when I do it with my non-dominant hand on my dominant hand. So I try more times than not to just not have to have that situation happen. I try to use peel base on my right hand or on my dominant hand, and I just try to not have to ever e-file anything off, just because I'm still working on my confidence on that hand. I still do practice on it, but it's really hard, especially the pinky is really hard to access. So also a couple of tips for e-filing. Number one would be go at your own pace. It is not a race. Go at your own pace that's good for you, to where you feel comfortable, and move up speed as you personally feel comfortable. The second tip would be to use safety bits in the beginning, because they make it so much easier to practice with and not have to stress about cutting yourself. My third tip would be to anchor your hand like I'm doing with my pinky. You anchor your pinky on the nail that you're filing, or on the finger that you're filing. You can use your pinky to anchor, you can use your ring finger to anchor on, but you want to make sure that you have contact with the nail or on the finger itself, so that you're not just like free filing. I don't even know if that makes sense, but you want to make sure, because it steadies your hand. You want to make sure that your hand is steady so that it's not easily like gonna fly around with the e-file, because then it gets to be dangerous. So you can use either of those two to just angle, and I would hold it just like how I have, and hold it like you're holding a pen or a pencil. It just makes it that much easier. And you see when I moved it up to 10,000, how fast we were able to knock out those last couple of nails. And just like look at how much dust is there. Like that is a lot of dust. If you're not using a dust collector, you are either inhaling that or getting that all over your workstation or yourself or what have you. And that's probably not the best thing. So I would definitely recommend in getting a dust collector. So next part is I like to go back in with my sanding band just to kind of level everything out on the nail, just kind of even out all the little divots that I may have made, or get that last bit of gel polish that's stuck in the cuticle line or the free edge. This one I got a little bit of extra gel polish up in the cuticle line that I was just kind of working at. But I just used the 240 grit sanding band just to remove the rest of the shine off the nail and get the rest of the color off that may have been like lingering behind. My preferred sanding band choice is to use a 240 or a 150. Those are my favorites. I don't really like to go low in grit because I have no need to go low in grit. The lower you go, the more coarse it's going to get. The higher you go, it's going to be more like, the higher you go, you get closer to more buffing the nail. So I like to kind of keep it at about 150 or 240. That's where I like to use mine. So I just am kind of going in, just flattening everything out so that my surface is going to be ready to work with when I'm done. So when I'm done with this part, I just kind of go in with a hand file just to crisp the edges, just to make sure that I keep that nice shape. Just to do, because I don't really like to do my sidewalls area and my free edge with the e-file. I like to use a regular hand file to do that part, just because I feel like it works better. It gives you that crisp edge. And then after that, you're ready to just cleanse the nail with your cleanser of choice and go in with your next application. So I feel like this just takes a lot less time and arm strength than e-filing or than regular hand filing all of it off, which is what I used to do before I got my e-file. If you're scared, I definitely recommend trying it with a cheaper one, because I started out with a very cheap $15 to $25 e-file until I was able to work myself up to get one of the better ones. Quality does make a difference. Like those cheap e-files on Amazon, yes, they're great, they work great, but I definitely recommend investing in a good one because it does matter. All right. Now here I'm just going to file the edges. I'm going to use, this is a 100-180 grit file. I use the 180 side. Like I was saying before, I like to use the higher grit side because I don't want to take off product. I just want to smooth it out, want to crisp it up. I don't want to take it out, anything off. I'm not removing any more product. So all I'm going to do is crisp up the edges, and then that's it. Just a little bit of extra like finishing touches. I mean, you don't have to do this, but I mean, if you want to keep your shape crisp, then I recommend doing it. Also, if you're going in with gel polish, you want to make sure that your shape is as precise as possible so that you have to do little to no filing whenever you apply your gel polish. When I do gel polish applications, I do 0 filing with them just because I make sure that my nail shape is perfect before I do any color on them. All right, so after we get the nail shape looking good, I wanted to do a stiletto, but I've been stabbing myself, so I kind of just round the tip of it just because it's so pointy, and I stab myself for my kids, and it's not good for anybody. So I just round the tip just a little bit, and I get everything exactly how I want it, and then I'm going to use my nail cleanser to just cleanse all of the dust off, disinfect anything, and then I'll be ready to go. But what I did want to show y'all is I did want to show you guys how much dust this collector picked up, because I do feel like that is important for y'all to see. Now, if y'all don't want to see it, you can stop the video right here because some people don't like seeing that. But I do want to show y'all the dust that was captured from taking all of the polish off on my nails and was caught in this dust collector. Now, here's where I show it. I'm going to put a paper towel down so y'all can see, but this is what the nails look like. They got a little bit of the glitter still left on them, but I don't really mind. It's going to get covered up anyway. And that little spot is just a piece of gel polish that's being stubborn. So we're not going to dig into our cuticles to go find that. So I did turn my flash on so that you could see. Oh, I guess I am going to dig in a little bit, but because I wanted to try to get all of the color off for you to see like everything completely looking really nice, but it was just stuck in there and it wasn't coming out, so I didn't want to hurt my cuticle anymore. So moving along, now is when I show you all of the dust that was collected in this dust collector. Now it is a lot in there, and I definitely need a new filter, but I just knock my filter out and then just beat it really good and it just gets clear. But look at all of the dust from just this one removal. Like, that is a lot of dust. Now, that is going somewhere if you don't have a dust collector. So just keep that in mind. I hope y'all found this video informative. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are going to take some of the tips and give an e-file a try. Thank y'all for spending some of your day with me today. I hope to catch y'all on the next one. Keep a lookout for my Christmas series that is starting soon. Maybe share this video with one of your friends that's kind of struggling with e-filing. I will catch y'all on the next video.